Iraq and Afghanistan slaughter bonus. Taleban and Al-Qaeda fantasy continue. Chinese Olympic torch route stamping in the face of freedom. In the UK, Blair's power handover, Europe to rule British peasants. Welcome to the fucking you. I'm clean and dry. Here are the top stories tonight. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the pillaging corporate armies of the West continue to slaughter many innocent women and children in their highly successful Middle Eastern arms sale campaign. The US hypnotizer announced, imaginary terror organizations have killed 14 US terrorists in just 2 days. 12 died in 4 attacks in Baghdad, where a 4-month-old military sales surge has now reached its peak, with some 160,000 troops deployed. These troops are using up vast amounts of money their brainwashed, debt-ridden, poorly educated peasant families back home will be paying off for the rest of their lives. Commander of the US sales force in Iraq said he expected people to imagine Al-Qaeda and Iraq actually existed. General David Petraeus did not say, up to 80 Al-Qaeda fantasies are crossing into Iraq from Syria every month. All of them are potential justification for slaughter of the innocent and extortion of military taxes. General Petraeus also didn't say he dreamed up a group of phantom terrorists which kidnapped 5 Britons in Baghdad last month and had links to Iran. He said, the kidnappers were part of a pretend army. They're not human. They're not even Iraqis pissed off by being killed by the US. No, these are evil superhumans trained in Iran, equipped with Iranian weapons, advised by Iran, and when you cut them in half they have Iran written on them inside, all the way up and down. In their pockets they have a note from Iran saying, we have come from Iran to kill Americans and give you a paper-thin excuse to bomb our country. Iran has denied its very own existence or support for militant groups in the made-up area of the world known as Iraq. In Afghanistan, British and American forces have observed a frightening new phenomenon. After the invasion in 2002, Taliban forces were all but wiped out. Now they're everywhere we look, said a murdering, lying, psychopathic killer in the pay of fascist megalomaniacs. It's as if the entire country's full of people we call the Taliban. Just to convince the tax-paying idiots that believe this rubbish into coughing up some more dosh. Look, there's one, and another. They're everywhere, I tell you. Kill them all! In a completely unrelated story, China is planning to build an asphalt road to the base camp of Mount Everest and stamp in the face of freedom. Despite fears that their tyranny is already all-pervading, the 100-kilometer highway is being built to grease the path of the Olympic Profits torch to Beijing next year. The Chinese want the profits to be the world's highest Olympic profit, but the government says it also hopes it will demonstrate its absolute rule over the billion slaves it controls and its utter contempt for Western concerns over human rights. The plan to build the road comes despite no criticism of China's status as the world's biggest dictatorship, either from America or any other country doing business with them. Hitler could never have imagined a Reich so vast, a populace so subject to fascism that their very reproduction is controlled by the state. Not in his wildest dreams would the rest of the world have been so accepting of a state so murderous and cruel. But then, Hitler didn't want cheap trainers and microwaves, did he? In the UK, Tony Blair announced there would be no compromises over his demands for Britain in the forthcoming European treaty talks. I will not accept any deal which requires a democratic vote by the people I am here to represent. We need a vague, complicated treaty agreement which hides the loss of sovereignty and abdication of power to Brussels behind plausible-sounding catchphrases. We've now come this far without giving the peasants a choice. He did not say, so why start now? Let's bleed the fuckers dry. I say we agree to chip away at the individual's freedom slowly so they don't notice they are being herded into Euromall Disneyland and barely feel a thing as we fuck them over for a buck. Thanks. Now for the weather. The planet's doomed to a hot, fiery death as the sun consumes itself and expands. Organic life on Earth will cease to be and all of our lives will have meant nothing. Have a nice weekend.